3, 2. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It does give you 3 options. I'm not sure. Let me just make sure my canvas is... Last time I was recording, my canvas was cropped. So it does give you 3 options here on the right hand side. So you can click and choose. So obviously that one's brought the plant out way too much. Definitely the first one is the good to go. And then you can toggle off and on. So obviously it's not actually perfectly accurate, but what we're going to do now is layer. We're going to flatten the image, which means it's just going to merge all those together. I'm going to use the clone tool to just... So if you haven't used the clone tool before on a Mac, you click Alt and you can choose a section of the photo to then copy over. And it's a great way to just remove things that are there. So I can actually get the edge of this plant, click the edge of it. Let me just clean this little bit up here. So click once to select, let go. And then now you've got the edge of this plant ready to be copied anyway. So I want to move this up to there. So there we go. All it's doing is moving that edge of that plant back. And that might be a little bit too clean there. Again, the agent will put on this listing that this is an artist impression or a representation of the property. Disclaimer. So obviously when you're trying to sell a property of this value, it's going to increase the chances of it selling. Now this door here, it has made it a little bit blurry, but that doesn't matter. This door here, actually, the wall goes like that. And then it also goes like this. So a lot of people, might not be bothered doing this kind of work to the photos, but you got to just ask yourself, like, do you want to be an above average photographer, or do you just want to do bare minimum and get by? Now you can charge for this accordingly in your packages and stuff. So obviously these windows here have the reflection of the rubbish in them now, so they're going to be reflecting the concrete instead. So I want to select all these windows, and this is something that Generative Fill won't give you that full the full generation, if that makes sense. It's not going to generate. It is pretty damn good. I've seen it generate reflections in puddles, but it might take a few goes for it to just be perfect for exactly what you want. So what we'll do is we'll just make that kind of feather a little bit. And then we'll just put some grey back in on this door frame here. And once you zoom out, you're not even going to tell because you're so far out. And this is for one of my long-term clients that I've worked with for a long time. I mean, I could have just gone, done the photos, told him, sorry mate, you got to clean up if you want it to look good. But he's in a situation where, the tenant is most likely not wanting to move out. So why would they clean up for the photos? But then, if they get a good offer, of course they'll sell. I don't really know the whole situation. It's probably not right for me to comment due to privacy and stuff, but here we are. I'm just showing you photo techniques. It's got nothing to do about people's private lives. So look at that. Already it's looking way cleaner than before. So if we can't actually jump to the before photo because it's gone. So another thing I noticed is the pole here. The pole was generated wrong, so we're just going to put the pole back in. So I'm going to roughly draw where the pole would have been. Get some of this paint here, paint it in. A lot of you people might think this is super dodge, but select inverse just to clean up the background of it. So you can see there's a nice shadow, so just make that straight. There we go. We have our pole back. Does our pole have a little shadow coming off it from the sun? There it is. Does it look real? Definitely not. And then there's other angles, so people will be flicking through these angles pretty fast. I'm just going to fix up where this trailer was. One thing I hate when you're cloning is when you can see that it's repeated something. That's what makes a clone look cheap. So if you see how it's repeated this almost like a C shape in the concrete, you don't want that to happen. You want it to be, yeah, so that just makes it look a lot better. People who work with Photoshop will see that and be like, oh yeah, definitely cloned it right there. And then you can get this edge of the bush maybe looking a bit better. Oh, that was a bit of a fail, but you don't have to be too particular with it. Clean up the weeds a little bit there. I'm pretty happy with that. So another thing we have to do is actually cut out. What I'm going to do is blur the surroundings and just show the warehouse itself. I'm pretty sure the agent is going to love these photos. He's a little bit worried about the mess and stuff, and he's like, oh, I'll see what you can do. I said to him it does take a lot more time. As you can tell, like when you're doing, 20 different angles and you're working it like this. So the next thing I'm going to do is just get the polygon lasso. I'm going to select around the borders of the property. So here we've got the roof all the way to the back. So here you've got the other property kind of cutting in. We'll just show a little bit of that, and then to there. I think in the other photos I went all the way to the front, like so. Copy, paste that. Then I like to duplicate it twice, and then one of them at the background I'm going to put an outer glow like that, and that will show the perimeter. And then from there we're going to get our background layer. We are going to Gaussian blur it. So blur, Gaussian blur, and that will just blur the surroundings, not fully, so you can tell there's still warehouses, but and then what we'll do with the background also is just going to go a little bit darker, just so our warehouse pops a little bit. Now you might not look like that look, maybe it looked better before. I'm kind of not liking the fact that it did cut out the front here, which is a little bit annoying, but we're going to run with it. So now we're just going to flatten the layers, and we're just going to go Control S, save that, and that's just going to save over the original photo. And now we've got the top down. So first thing I'll do here is unlock the rear layer, bring it a bit closer. So this is the top down. It shows you how many car parks you've got and all that. So we're going to do something similar. Let's just use generative fill again. So get your lasso tool, select around in the rubbish that you want removed. And what this will do is it'll obviously use the surrounding areas to generate what it thinks. So we'll do the trailer as well. Maybe we'll do this truck on the road. It's crazy how many warehouses there are just a complete mess. Like when I was driving around, just so many people have stuff in the front. Obviously they've got a lot going on. Alright, let's check our 3 options. Option 2. Option 3. Option 2 has done the bottom better, but option 3 has done the top better. I think I might keep option 2. If you ever hate what it's generated, you can actually just hit generate again, and it'll give you more generations. So now just jumping over to the clone tool and cleaning up again. And I'm just showing you this stuff just in case you guys want to use these techniques on your photos to help bring the quality up. I don't know many photographers who would actually go to this level, but I get a lot of good feedback from it, and a lot of people particularly just work with me because I can do stuff like this. So even on the easier jobs, I'll get the easier jobs. And the way I look at it as a photographer, you can sit there and whine and complain about having to do stuff like this, but then you gotta, if you want to be like that, then you gotta be able to be thankful and grateful when you get the easy job, not just only like it when you get the easy job. So yeah, look, the concrete's a little bit kind of hazy. It does look cleaner on one side than it does the other. 99.9% of people aren't going to really care. Just flatten the image again. And when you're working, you want to work quickly because there's a lot to do. So I'm going a lot slower because I'm showing you guys. But when you're working, if you want to maximize your hourly rate, you got to basically do this as fast as you can without compromising quality. And there we go. We'll put our, I've just selected the actual property. Same thing to the background. We're just gonna Gaussian blur it. Adjustments. Just make the background a little bit darker. Flatten the layers off. Control S to save it. That one's good. Cool, so now we're going to the ground images. I've been playing around with some old school photo restorations too. Like this was a black and white image that was probably only about yay big, and I generated the whole background. Having a bit of a play because I feel like that's a lot of people might want that kind of thing. So let's have a look at this image here. I was reluctant to do this one because there's so much stuff and I can't see what's behind here. Like imagine there's like a door or a window or something that I can't really see that's crucial. And then we're photoshopping it to look like that. I think it's generated a door that doesn't exist here. Not that I can really tell. Yeah, see there's rubbish there. So what you can do then is just select around the area that you like, and what's where it's made a mistake, and just generate again and hope for the best. Like even this door here just looks a bit weird, but again, just putting a simple disclaimer in there that this is an impression and to make your own inquiries. The photos and floor plan may not be 100% accurate. Da 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 da. Doing something like that can kind of save them. A lot of people just put, this is why I flatten the images. A lot of listings have disclaimers like that, so it's not like it's out of the ordinary. What else? This fire hydrant is a bit weird. The color's completely different. Just paint over the top of it. All good. Yeah, I think that's roughly what it looked like. Maybe this little wooden block, and you can go as far as you want and sit here and spend, you know, all day on one photo. Make it completely perfect. Or you could look behind all this stuff while you were there and just take note, or take other photos as reference photos for editing. And going to this amount of effort, and then even making a promotional video on how you do this kind of stuff and how you go above and beyond for people could land you more work. So it's up to you really if you want to do that, because it could land you more work. And the good thing about real estate photography is that you have repeat clients, like keep giving you work. It's not like so there's a before and after. Dude, I think that's pretty damn close to what it would be like if it was empty. Cool, I'm happy with that. Remove the cluttered one. This back section here, I mean, I think I'm just gonna remove that. I'm just using Lightroom's AI. Sometimes that can just be way quicker than opening it up in Photoshop. You can just kind of use the spot removal tool, I think it's called. Healing tool. And there's 3 different modes of healing. You got your rubber, you got your heal, and your clone. I think the rubber will content aware removal. So it just analyzes what's around it and then fills it with that. So these look alright, they look fairly neat. This one I haven't done yet. Let's just remove that little bit sticking in. It's got a mezzanine up the top here, which is good to show off. This one here we might actually clean up a few things. Let's just go into Photoshop. So when you're in Lightroom, you can right click, edit in Photoshop. And if you don't have this Adobe CC Suite, Creative Cloud, jump on. I think you can get student discounts and free trials and stuff like that where you can play around with all this software. As a business and student, I got to pay for this. Which, you know, a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into developing this kind of software and they keep improving it. So, and if you're making money off it too, then yeah, it's good to just share the love and pay for what you're using, the tools. I want to get rid of this broom here as well. And the shovel. See what happens with this. It's going to be interesting. A little bit worried about that rack on the right hand side there. Waiting. 3, 2, 1, bang. Okay, it's put more stuff in there that's different. Hasn't really removed the items. Let's just write remove items. No good. No good. Tiny bit better. What if we take that one, we flatten it, and then we just circle it again. I just want to make the floor space look as big as possible. I'm trying to think of it from a buyer's perspective. Like if you were buying this, like what would you want to see? Yeah, oh look, there's heaps of stuff in there, but like it looks good if you can picture some empty floor space. Or someone who's an investor might even buy this, which means that they're going to buy it. They won't even move in. They'll keep the tenant there. It's done the end a little bit better. Yes, that's the better one. Maybe we can just run with that. We just got a few things on the wall here that are a little bit... How's it going? Might just select a few of those. Might have to draw this wall back in properly because that's a little bit deceiving. It's not actually like that. I got a dude coming to do the windscreen on the VL. So if you're into cars and stuff, check out my car channel, George Auto, where I restore cars and whatever, do car shenanigans and whatever. Oops. Why isn't it letting me draw? I'm trying to draw. Is that because Siri? Hello? I'm on the brush tool. I'm confused. Why isn't it letting me draw? It's not letting me zoom in. What the hell? It's being weird. And I'm screen recording. Come on, Photoshop. Okay, I've zoomed in. I want my brush tool. There it is. There we go. Why is it put? It definitely doesn't have this. That's a little bit bright. I'm guessing these cables come all the way down. Does that look bad? Does that look bad? So sometimes it looks bad when you zoom in, but when you zoom out, it's better. Alright, let's just roll with that. If the client's got a problem with it, then I'll have to deal with it. Or he probably won't notice, and then they'll be looking for me on a current fair. So before, after, boom. Just looks a lot bigger. Remove, and that is it, guys. So yeah, if you want to see more content like this, I'm going to be doing heaps more recently. I'm going to be doing heaps more soon. Show not more recently. There's a few of the other photos I've done. Like these offices were fully cluttered, stuff everywhere. I even generated this plant in the corner just to make it look a little bit nicer. So that's it, guys. Leave a comment, let us know what you think, like and subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.